Hello, hello, and welcome everyone. It is a pleasure to be with you again. I'm so glad to be with you. So this is part 3. So welcome to part 3 of the Awaken Your Inner Lover series. So it's always fun being here with all of you, but I'm going to do a screen share with you to start. So welcome. So I want to take a moment first to just talk a little bit about what we are doing in this series. So we're activating the miraculous connection between love, pleasure, vitality, healing, and spiritual bliss. And all of this is available to us by opening up our sexual energy. And it's really unfortunate that this is something that we have not been taught in our lives. And many of us are not finding out until we're in our 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s even. And of course, many people never do learn about this. So I'm really excited to be able to teach you about how you can use some sexual energy practices to fulfill your life and to expand into your full potential as a human being. And this is true really for any gender of people. This particular class is focused more toward those who identify as women, but these principles actually apply to all genders. And there is just a little bit different focus for different genders, or ways that we might want to work with our bodies and our sexual energy, as well as connecting to our emotions, our spirit, our physical bodies, and our mental bodies. So I just want to let you know that this series recordings are still available until next Friday, March 17th. And I also next week will be having a special guest who I'll tell you about later. So for those of you who haven't met me yet, I'm Dr. Debbie Meitz. I'm a medical doctor who focused a lot on alternative health and women's health in my practice. Since I have retired from that practice since, and my focus now is on helping everyone really to open up and to connect to their sexual energy, to actually integrate our sexual energy with our spirituality, and that we can experience our sexual energy as a tool for healing the body, mind, emotions, and spirit. I help people to let go of shame around their sexuality and to actually reclaim their power. Because one thing I have really found is that when people reclaim their sexual energy, they reclaim their spirituality, reclaim these deepest parts of themselves, they become really liberated and powerful. So I teach classes primarily for women and for couples. And I'm happy to be sharing some Tantra doctor wisdom with you today. So I wanted to remind you, or let you know if this is your first time here, that you can qualify in this series for some participation pleasure prizes. So each day we have an action step that you can take during that week. And by doing those, I'll go over those action steps a little bit later today. And then you can be entered into a drawing to win a special prize. The actual prizes will be announced next Friday, March 18th. So I just want to recap a little bit about what we learned and explored together in our last session. We learned that when we combine the energies of unconditional love and compassion with the energies of sexual arousal and orgasm, that we actually change the frequency at which we vibrate as individuals. And that there is a secret power to this vibration. It's actually the same vibratory frequency as the Schumann resonance, which is known to be the Earth's heartbeat. So that when we combine sexual energy and unconditional love and compassion, that we actually are vibrating at the same frequency as the Earth does. And this has a lot of implications that are being studied right now and are the subject of a lot of research. But one of those most important factors is that when we change the vibration that we're functioning at, that we can actually expand and improve our health. And we can actually expand our abilities to communicate with other living beings on the planet through tuning into a different magnetic frequency. That as each person raises their vibration to this level, then we create a whole new world, a new way of communicating, a new way of connecting, sharing energy and information with each other. I'll be talking more about that in some future sessions, but this is something that's actually been measured scientifically. It's not really all woo-woo, although I'm not afraid of the woo-woo, and most of us enjoy a certain amount of that. This is actually scientifically measured information. This data is very helpful for helping us to see that as we change our consciousness, that we can actually change the planet. And right now, our planet is in need of some deep changes, some deep healing, and some love. So as much of that as we can do for each other, the better we are, the better off we all are. So this secret power of this vibrational frequency and the information around this can transform our lives in so many ways. It also heals us on all the levels we talked about, mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. It opens us up to all of our potential as human beings and allows us to realize that in an active, real, tangible kind of way. So we learned a little bit last time about the inner smile meditation, how we can smile to our heart. We also learned about the heart yoni practice, a way to actually connect these two very sacred parts of who we are. And that when we connect the energy of our love with our hearts, we can share with those around us in a different way, with more power, with more in a more full and complete kind of love. And I think that's what many of us want at this point in our life. And we did some practices to learn how to open our hearts to the world and how we can resource the energies of the heavens and the earth. So we don't have to rely solely on the amount of energy that's in our bodies now. We can actually use the heavens and the earth as energy resources. And we'll be doing a little bit of that today. But that's something that most of us don't ever get to find out. So I want to teach you today about a practice called tantric breast massage, which really is a key part of how we can awaken our inner lover. So I want to talk a little bit about breast massage and why we should do it. One thing that we're all aware of is that there is a lot of breast health issues in our Western society especially, but that our breast actually, we know that there are a lot of breast cancer incidents. It's a very high rate of incidence among Western women. And as Eastern women and Eastern cultures take on more of our Western ways of living, that the breast cancer rates actually increase in Eastern populations as well. But the breasts are melting pots for energy in our lives. So for many of the emotions and the feelings that we have in our lives, we actually can learn how to clear out some of that energy, because we do store it for the most part very, very unconsciously. But there's a lot of stagnant and even toxic energy in our breasts, and in our bodies regarding that. So what we're going to be doing is learning a practice to help clear out some old energy, so that we can clear our chi, and we can have healthier breasts, healthier bodies, and healthier emotions. So one of the things I really want to say about this practice is that we actually are going to be resourcing the heavens and the earth to do this breast massage. So some of you who were here for the previous session will remember that we talked about that. But I want to ask you to just tune in for a moment with your feet from where you're sitting, or if you're lying down, you can just tap into the earth, the energy of the earth with your whole body. And that we want to draw energy from the earth up into our feet, into a point called the kidney 1 or bubbling spring point, which is located near the balls of the foot, between the first and second toes. This is where we take in the energy of the earth. And a lot of people actually also like to visualize that we have a tail that's hanging from our sacrum and our spinal cords, and that we can actually tap in to earth energy that way as well. So whatever way works for you is completely fine. It's really about having the intention of moving earth energy, drawing it up into your body and utilizing it for a greater purpose. We can also return energies back to the earth. The earth is a really wonderful composter of all of our stagnant, toxic chi. It composts it so that energy can be used again for again another purpose, and a healthier purpose. So don't be afraid to release energies back into the earth. Mother Earth is here to support us in our lives and in our higher destinies. So we are going to tap into the earth and going through all the deep layers of the earth, all the way down to the core of the earth. So I want to invite you to draw that energy up into the foot, and then through the inside of the legs. These are yin channels that we can bring energy up the thighs, up into the perineum, which is the area between the sexual organs and the anus. And we can also draw this energy up into our sexual center. So we can fill our vaginas, our clitoris, and all the other parts of our sexual organs, the uterus, the ovaries. Even if you don't have those currently, if those have been removed surgically or made inactive in one way or another, it really doesn't matter, because it's really the energy of those organs is still there. The healthy, energetic aspect of those organs is there. So then we're going to take this earth energy and draw it up through the core channel of our body, connecting our energy centers or our chakras, connecting all the way up to the crown center. And you may remember that the crown center is actually associated with the pineal gland. And this is how we connect to source, to connect to the source of all life. It's also a way to connect to the energy of the heavens, the cosmic energies of the heavens that surround us. So, for example, you can make contact with the energies, the electromagnetic forces of the stars, the planets, the sun, and the moon. So I invite you to connect to the earth energy, right? Drawing it up through the center of your body and letting it come out your crown center, and to connect to the energies of the heavens. You may also want to connect to any divine energies that are important or meaningful for you. So what we're going to be doing is connecting to these heavenly energies and drawing them into the crown, down the core channel, again into all of the energy centers. So the brow chakra, the throat chakra, the heart, the solar plexus, down through the area of the navel, the sexual center, the perineum, and then down out the outside of the legs, back into the earth. So that we are actually experiencing ourselves as a conduit between the energies of heaven and earth. And from my perspective, that is what human beings are. We are the conduit of heaven and earth on this three-dimensional level in these bodies. That we are divine beings having a human, physical, three-dimensional experience here on this planet. So now I'm going to draw, we're going to actually do the breast massage practice here, utilizing the energies of heaven and earth. I want to make one comment, however, and that is if you are a breast cancer survivor, my recommendation is that that it is okay to touch the breast when we're drawing earth energy up into the breast, but then when we do the heavenly energy portion, my recommendation is that you hold your hands just off the skin. Just off of the body, so that energetically you're still getting benefit, but benefit in a way that is appropriate for you. If you have questions about this, feel free to reach out to me on my website or in this Facebook group. I'll be happy to tell you more about that. So let's do this practice completely now. So tapping into the energies of the earth, tap all the way into the core energy of the earth, and draw this energy upward into the soles of your feet and up the inside of the legs, into the perineum and into the sexual center. And if you like, I invite you to pump up and down a little bit on your pelvic floor muscles so that you actually can really engage your sexual energy. And you can boost up the amount of sexual energy that you're using in this practice or in other practices that we do together. So now we want to draw this energy up from the perineum through the sexual center, the solar plexus, the heart, the throat, up to the brow chakra and out the third eye, out the crown, connecting to the heavens, connecting to the source of all life. You can also connect to the cosmic bodies around us, the sun, moon, stars, and planets, drawing this energy down into the crown, back down the core channel. I like to do that on the exhale, and exhale that energy back down into the earth so that heaven and earth energy are moving inside of us. Now this time we'll draw the energy, the earth energy, up the feet and the legs into the sexual center and the perineum. Draw this energy up between your breasts, like as in your hands actually, coming between the center of the breast and out the top and down the sides of the breast. So I want to encourage you to do this practice. So we want to circle the breasts here at least 9 times. A lot of people recommend doing it 12 times or even 36 times. What we're doing here, and you want to really cover all of the breast area. What we're doing when we do this is that we're actually moving stagnant energy, stagnant chi, stagnant emotions, toxic energy. We're actually allowing for there to be a greater circulation of energy through our breaths so that we're moving out toxic energy and making space for new, fresh, healthy chi to take place. So when we've done this 9 times or 12 times, then we'll stop and just engage the heart so that our hands, our Lao Gong point, which is a pericardium, a point on the pericardium meridian, can cover the breasts, and that our hands, our fingers, connect to the heart. So the breasts are connected to the heart chakra. In fact, the Taoists call the breast the blossoms of the heart. So that we're actually opening our hearts when we connect to our breasts. Now we want to take this practice in the opposite direction. We connect to the heavenly energies, to divinity, to our own divinity, the divinity that surrounds us, and to the cosmic energies of the sun, moon, stars, and planets. And this is where the practice changes a little bit for those who are breast cancer survivors. So here we want to draw this energy from the heavens down into our crown, down the core channel, down the center line of our bodies, down between the breasts, and then we want to draw this energy up the bottom and the sides of our breasts. We want to massage our breasts 9 times or 12 times or 36 times. And what we're doing here, so for those who are breast cancer survivors, you want to hold your hands slightly off the body. But what we're doing here is we're actually bringing cosmic chi into our breasts. We're activating lots of positive hormones and positive energies within our bodies, because we're bringing this energy through the master glands of the pineal gland, the pituitary gland, and hypothalamus. So we want to do it this way. And it's believed that when we do the breast massage in this direction, that it actually makes our breasts larger. And then we do it the opposite direction, that we make our breasts firmer. So if you have a preference for one or the other, you can do one direction a little bit longer than the other one. So again, we're going to draw the energy up the legs, drawing earth energy up the legs into the perineum, and then drawing this energy up between the breasts coming up, down the sides of the breast and around the top of the breast. So we're going to do this 9 times. And we're clearing out any stagnant chi, any stagnant energy and stagnant emotions from our breasts. And then we're going to come again up to the heavens, connect to the energy of the heavens, drawing it down into our crown center. We're awakening the master glands in our brains, bringing this energy down the midline, down between the breasts, and up the sides of the breasts. We're going to do this 9 times. It's really nice to start any kind of sexual energy practice with breast massage. Now again, we're connecting the pericardium 8 point known as the Gong point over the breast. And we're connecting our fingertips over the heart. Awakening and connecting with our heart. And actually smiling down to our hearts. And then we're sending this loving heart energy, this smiling heart energy, the way you would smile to an old friend. We're smiling to our hearts, smiling to our breasts. And now spreading this love energy, this sense of unconditional love and acceptance, spreading it out to all of the organs, all of the tissues and cells of our body. And I'm going to share my screen with you once again. So this is a wonderful way to send love to yourself. It's a very simple practice, but very powerful. It's a really nice way of awakening your sexual energy, especially if you haven't been in touch with it for a while. And if you are in touch with your sexual energy, that's great. This is just a new way to utilize this sexual energy in a very way that is very sacred, very opening, connecting, and transformative. Remembering that you can use this breast massage practice, any breast massage practice really. This is just the simplest of the breast massage practices that I teach, that you can open your heart chakra and send unconditional love to all the cells of your body. In another session, we will also learn how to awaken our chakras through using breast massage. That's beyond the scope of today's class, but it's something that I go into in great detail in my 6-month program called Reclaim Your Sacred Sexual Vitality. And it's something that we can cover in another session in this group. So I just want to remind you that you follow the action steps. If you do that, you can actually become eligible for this Intimacy Deck Pleasure Prize, which is a wonderful way to prompt you to have a deeper connection with your own heart and with those in your life that you love and that are meaningful to you. So the love integration actions for this week would be by next Thursday, March 17th, to choose one or more of the practices that we've gone over in this series and to share in the group on the Facebook page how it impacts you. So you can do breast massage, you can do the inner smile massage to your heart and your organs. You can do the yoni heart practice, connecting these two very sacred parts of ourselves, connecting these together and reaching that new level of vibration that we talked about earlier. And the other part you can do is to connect the energies of heaven and earth to your own heart and to share it with others around you, because we certainly need that right now in our world. So next week, I will have a special guest, Robin Smith, who is a body-centered trauma and relationship coach at Conscious Thriving Relationships. So I'm looking forward very much to having her join us and talk about how she deals with trauma and relationships from a body-centered perspective, which is a very nice adjunct to the sexual energy practices that we do. So don't miss that session. I'm looking forward to seeing you next week. Join me again next Friday, March 18th, for prize announcements, some new topics to discuss around awakening your sacred heart and your inner lover. It's been wonderful to be with you today. Thank you for coming. I look forward to seeing you next time. Blessings.